We're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and for some of you new members, our review, we had a follow-through day here on January 6th, and we had a nice rally through January up to February 2nd. So we had a green light going on here, but then when this corrected, we went to yellow, more cautionary, and then this thing started to rise, and we did not get this is a 50% retracement. We did not get green light until May 10th, when it got above the old high of 12,269, and that was on May 10th. And since then, it's just been ramping higher and higher. Today, we had a bullish, I'm going to zoom in here, bullish engulfing candle here. You can see this week we had a close at the high, and today we had our big pullback. You had your chance to get in on the pullback, and the Nasdaq closed higher by 53 points. And you can see the increasing volume here the last 4 or 5 sessions. The Nasdaq is really starting to ramp. I expected a bigger pullback today, but you don't always get what you want. You get what you need. I want to take a different route today. I'm going to go to the XBI because this is something that I thought was really going to take off this year, and it's just fell flat. You could see that, it was obviously COVID. The drug stocks did well, but they peaked in February of 2021, sold off. We had capitulation selling here in May of 22, and then it ramped higher, and it has just gone sideways ever since. And you think at some point it's going to break out. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, right in this trade range, right? And the Nasdaq has been rallying, and this thing cannot break out to new highs. So to me, the drug stocks are like pretty much dead money. You might find a few here and there that are doing well, but the theme is AI, and the drug stocks are just kind of, they're floundering around here. Couple of them, AXSM is one. They provided guidance for the first time today, and their guidance was 5.5 billion in revenue to 11 billion in revenue, and that's kind of a wide disparity there in guidance. So they have a lot of leeway there to come in with their revenue expectations this year. I didn't know they had 8 drugs, and they expect 5.5 to 11 million in revenues, and that's why you saw the big pop today. Eli Lilly is another one with their Mounjaro, the weight loss drug, and it's had a nice, breakout and a run up, and it's just kind of traded flat sideways. NVO, the same thing. Like I say, I like participating in these big run-ups, but I don't want any part of this sideways action. This is for the birds. If it decides that wants to get in an uptrend, fine. But these drug stocks are just they're not doing it for me. TGTX had a nice run, little breakout, little short covering there, ran hard, and then pulled back. And you expect it to bounce off the 50, and it's just flat, is going absolutely nowhere. And the options market is calling for, some bullish activity, but it's doing nothing. So, it is pinching in here with higher lows, kind of flagging a little bit. I would expect it at some point to move, but it hasn't. So stocks move when they want to and not when we want them to. Sometimes I think I should only own 4 stocks. I'm serious. I spend a ton of time researching charts and different stocks, and NVDA, AMD, SMCI, and Tesla are just the 4 horsemen for me right now. And the rest of the stocks in my portfolio are just kind of not doing much, but these 4 are just knocking out of the park. We had a buy on NVIDIA here this week as it pulled back to its 10 EMA. And this is the way you want to bounce off a moving average, darn it. Come down, it was, I think, 390 here, and just smoked higher 40 points to 430 today, and it's up in after hours. That's the way you want to see a strong stock bounce. AMD, they had their presentation yesterday. You could see this big bearish engulfing candle. It just pulled back to its 10 and then bounced today. I expect a further bounce. We'll see. The high is 130.79, I guess. No, that's not right. I made a new high yesterday. Get it right, Chargan. 132.83. I would expect it to take that out pretty soon. That stock is real strong. SMCI, one thing that it did this week it sold off the first 2 days, and it filled this gap here, 235.74 on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, 232.11. So it closed the gap here, which is a positive. Had an inside day today, and all it really has done this week, a little profit taken and pulled back to its 10 EMA. But if you're if you're looking at this chart making these higher lows and pinching in here, this little flag pattern, I kind of like that. With an inside day, it's up after hours. We'll see. And the last one, I'm going to go to the my last one. I will cover the auto stocks, but Tesla, this thing broke out and is ripping higher. It was up 13 days in a row. So those 4 stocks are my top performers, but you guys don't care about that. Anyway, I'm going to go to a couple more semiconductor stocks, because not all of them are extended. Some are still setting up, and AEHR had a powerful move on the right side of its base. It undercut its 50, rallied back above it, and now it's just kind of flattening out here, but it's near a pivot at 40.69. And Broadcom, AVGO, this is a little foreshadowing here. Moved up to 921, then pulled back, and people are saying, "Oh, it's a climactic move. It's done." All it really did is come down to the 10. Pick up some more buyers, and now it's ripping right back to that 921.78 there. That stock looks good. ACLS is another one. Broke out. We had this on our buy list. It broke out, ripped higher. I mean, these things are getting away from you fast. And the only way I can get back into them is buying on pullbacks to moving averages. There you see today it pulled back to the 10. Okay, I'm going to move on from the semiconductor stocks. The auto stocks, I did say I was going to talk about the auto stock. Tesla, obviously, is the big kahuna in the autos. Nice breakout, move higher. Like I said, it was up 13 days in a row. Pull back today. What are you good for? Pull back. What a dog. You got to go up every day, right? But it looks good to me. Toyota Motors, they had news, and they just gapped up with heavy volume. This is a big move for Toyota. If you want to look at the weekly, we'll look at that stage 1 base. That is a powerful move with volume, so definitely pay attention to that. That is not going to be ignored, Dan. And Race is another one. This is Ferrari, and it's just kind of grinding higher. You can see the RS line really took a dive there as the Nasdaq was rallying. This thing's just trading sideways, but it's grinding higher along with its moving averages, and definitely showing strength because it's trading at new highs. We like new highs. Software, it's quite a few software names doing well. There's a lot of the charts are similar. If we look at the weekly, we know the software had a big sell-off, and now they're emerging from stage 1 bases, and not all of them are trading as a group. I mean, there's some winners and losers, and I think GLBE is definitely showing characteristics of a winner, breaking out of a base, trading higher. We like that one. IoT. This one doesn't have the growth profile of some of the other ones, but if you take a look at the weekly chart once again, this is a second stage base, traded lower, formed a stage 1 base, ripped higher. Now it's formed a stage 2 base and traded higher out of that. It blasted higher with volume. That's an earnings gap higher. So IoT looks good. Another one that I like is DigitalOcean. This one, if you look at the weekly, you can see very similar pattern. Traded down, formed a stage 1 base, and has broken out here the last 4 weeks. We had this thing about $34 or something, and now it just trading higher. Nice day today. A little pullback. We like pullbacks. And the last one is Palo Alto Networks. We had this one on our watch list as well. I believe in the 196 area. I don't know, somewhere around there. When it broke above the 50, and now it's just ramping higher. That's a nice trend for Palo Alto Networks. The last group of stocks I want to look at are the builders, the home builders. Lennar reported today, but first I want to look at a supplier. This is Builders First Source. This thing has been a beast. You can see on the weekly chart, and I want to point out the ascending base I believe we had a buy point around in the 80s, low 80s. I want to say. I got to look at my yeah, 89.90. Okay, out of this ascending base here, just ramping higher. Pull back to its 10. So we'll see if it ramps tomorrow. Lennar reported, and this stock's up after hours. Since I mentioned Lennar, let's go there. It's up nearly 3% after hours. You can see it undercut its 50, stayed down there for about a week, rallied back above it. And after the report today, it looks like it's going to be making new highs tomorrow. Another stock in that group that I like is DHI, and it just pulled back to its 10, like Builder First Source today. And we'll see if it finds support there and bounces. Anyway, that's it for today. The Fed, pause on the rate hike, and the market pulled back originally, and then the Nasdaq, showing its true colors and its strength, traded higher. So I expect our, rally, uptrend to continue. It's not going to go up every day, but the uptrend is strong, the power trend, and we're going to stick with it and never give up.